we have realized that, you know what, if you are focusing on the first purchase only, you are missing out the whole potential of the customer relationship down the line. But there are few, let's say, voices in the marketing field, in the retail field, which are articulating the fact that, hey, you can cherish, you can nurture those relationships, you can actually measure things like customer lifetime value and RFM and customer acquisition cost, because at the end of...
You're listening to the Focus on Customer Experience podcast. Benjamin Del Grosso gives you the ins and outs of one of the most underlooked aspects in business today. Improve your customer service and watch your business skyrocket. 2, 1. Now, here's your host, Benjamin Del Grosso.
Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have marketing guru Valentin Radu. He's the founder at omniconvert. Optimized customer acquisition is not a piece of cake. Actually, it's a whole cake. You need to satisfy your clients and have them come back for as long as possible. Make your website convert better, retain customers at a leaner cost of sales. Stop wasting media. For that, you need to test beyond random or the obvious. You might even have to innovate to be able to meet your customers effectively at all brand interaction touch points. So Valentin, welcome to the show.
Hi there, Ben, and hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be here with you.
So do you want to tell us just a little small clip of how you got to being the founder of omniconvert?
Yeah, so I've started as a former e-commerce entrepreneur. So I was struggling with making profitability happen on my end. I was making a lot of money in terms of the revenue, but not too much in terms of the profit. So I got back to focus on the unit economics, and two of them stood out from the rest, which were the conversion rate and the customer lifetime value. And that at that moment, I've built something which is the ancestor of our own technology right now, which allowed me to change the website in order to improve the conversion rates. Taking the time machine 10 years after, we have two products. One is for improving the conversion rates, and the other one is to improve the customer lifetime value. We are focusing mainly on e-commerce and retailers. We support hundreds of companies from all over the world. And as you can see, I've decided to sell that company due to the uplifts that we've generated. And I figured that this is the way to go, because I always changed my life based on let's say, the paradigm, you know, the explanation that I give about who am I. So I decided that the best character that I want to play is to be a software as a service entrepreneur and to focus on the global market rather than our local market here in Romania.
Nice. So obviously, because you're in the e-commerce space and you're working on trying to maintain customers, how is retail facing a tectonic shift?
Yeah. So what's happening at the same time, Ben, is that we're coming after pandemic when we have seen the traditional bricks and mortar brands, retailers focusing on the digital channels. At the end, at the exact moment, or pretty much at the exact time, we have seen iOS 15 and the cookie deprecation happening. And at the same time, right now, we are seeing the return of the customers and the consumers on the traditional bricks and mortar. So that means the e-commerce and retail right now is facing this shift from acquiring customers that never come back and let's say lending the space from media networks such as Facebook, Instagram, whatever, to their need to establish relationships with their customers. So basically we are seeing now this transition from clicks to relationships, because it's too expensive to acquire customers that never come back. And that means the retailers are now in a position to leverage their own data and to have this type of ongoing relationships, because the unit economics are forcing them to be profitable, not only from the first purchase, from the first transaction, but further down the line, because the more competition, no third-party data like they used to be, and more competitors at the same time for the same eyeballs.
Yeah, no, that's very true. You know, the networking group I'm in, that is one of the things they are preaching, is that a lot of people are now flocking back to the retail stores, right? They're finding that they want to have relationships with the customers. They were, they were stuck in their homes for so long. They want to go and talk to people. So if
Yeah.
you're just running an e-commerce company where you're not having any kind of relationships with your clients at all, then you are missing out. And so that sounds like that's what you're doing to try and create a difference in the customer experience with your clients.
Yeah, that's right. We have realized that, you know what, if you are focusing on the first purchase only, you are missing out the whole potential of the customer relationship down the line. But there are few, let's say, voices in the marketing field, in the retail field, which are articulating the fact that, hey, you can cherish, you can nurture those relationships, you can actually measure things like customer lifetime value and RFM and customer acquisition cost. Because at the end of the day, Ben, it's all a matter of how much you are getting from customers and how much you are paying to acquire those customers. And those are the type of KPIs that we should all be focusing on, not on shallow metrics like ROAS or CPC or CPA. These are fine, but these are very shallow. It's not giving you the actual profitability. So the path to profitability is customer lifetime value and the balance, the ratio between CLV and CAC. And having this, measuring it, is the first step to actually optimizing it. So now, if you're like if you have your own company, you start with the vision, and then you have objectives, and then you have the data to support those objectives. You monitor what matters, and then you come up with the right processes and with the right people to fulfill that vision. But if you are looking at misleading or shallow metrics like ROAS, not taking into account other costs that you have, then you are shooting in the dark. And right now, most of the companies are either overspending or underspending to acquire customers that never come back. And that things are not healthy on the long run.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, you're talking about lifetime value of customers, and like I was telling you, like how is it that you turn one-time buyers into lifetime customers, and how do you help like a small business grow?
So there is this methodology. I've talked a bit extensively in my book and in the CVO Academy, because basically I'm obsessed about these things. I think that we are neglecting this for too long, and there are a lot of companies struggling, like I've did as well. And the Facebook, Google, whatever companies, they are not having this vested interests in helping companies grow, not only by acquiring, but also by retaining their customers. So how you do it in a nutshell, it's called customer value optimization. It's a method, it's a process to A, understand who are your best customers, B, make sure that you acquire those customers, and C, provide the right products and the right experiences to them. And there are these three pillars of customer value optimization. First is what you sell, which are the products, the merchandising, right? Without a good product, you can't expect customers to come back and buy again suboptimal products, right? So the first thing and the most important one is to make sure that, are we selling the right products? Are our customers happy? And then we get to the second pillar, which is the customer experience. Like, what kind of customer journey we are offering them? Are we providing them the right experience? So it's what you do is the second pillar. And it's the customer experience and measuring things like Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction, customer effort score. And the third pillar is the marketing, is what you say. And as you can see here, Ben, and it's the paradox is most companies are starting with marketing when they should be starting with the customer, the products, the right experience, and then pour money into the acquisition machine. But they are starting with marketing. They are tweaking the ROAS, the creatives, the emails, and whatever, without making sure that they have the right product market fit. And most companies are dying just because they don't have the right product market fit, and they are offering a suboptimal customer experience. And that prevents their customers to come back, buy again, and advocate for generating network effect or word of mouth.
Yeah, no. So, like, a lot of small business owners are going to have problems building lifetime customers because a lot of times they don't do any follow up with their customers, right? So they're
Yeah,
not finding out how everything's going. They're not doing like a 1 week follow up. They're not doing like a 1 year follow up, right? So they're not making sure that they're still happy and making a
yeah,
reminder in their head, because I mean all that is taking your time to say, hey, how's everything going? Is everything
yeah.
working all right? Yes, everything is okay. And then you're keeping that customer top of mind. The customer, sorry, is keeping you top of mind.
Top of mind. Yeah,
Hey, that Ben guy called me and did that. By the way, my friend was looking for that. You know what, you should use Ben. He actually wants to take care of customers, and he took care of me, and I've been really happy with his services. But if you don't, what ends up happening is I got that from somebody last year. I don't remember who it was, but whatever. You know what? I'm sure you'll figure it out.
yeah.
But I
You'll
mean, but
find
that's the
another
whole
vendor.
thing. Yeah, right. So that's what you are going to help those small business owners stay top of mind, right?
Yeah.
But
One thing which is neglected is this follow up after the first purchase. So when a customer buys for the first time, it's not like you have a customer. You have someone which is experimenting, is testing you out. But if you are happy with the revenue that you're getting, the profit that you're getting from the first transaction, that's great. Even though it's way too expensive. So there are few companies that could scale with paid marketing right now, because you pay a lot of money to acquire that customer, and if you are not making sure that the customer is consuming or using the product and is happy about it, that means throwing money out of the window. So it's a very simple thing that you can do on the thank you page. You make sure that you collect this kind of data, like who is your customer, what is the purpose of why they are buying this product. And once you know what's causing the customer to buy, and more things related to this zero party data, like they say, it's a post-purchase survey where you are collecting this type of insight information, and you leverage that with your email campaigns, because you are way more relevant if you know that, let's say you are selling toys, and you know that you have a mother which is buying toys for their kid, or you have an uncle which is buying toys for their nephew, and it's a one-time purchase and it's a gift. So knowing this type of things puts you into a position to follow up with relevant messaging. And after that, after you are making sure that the products were being delivered, being shipped, then you can find out if the customers are happy with the NPS. And NPS, it's an amazing tool, because it allows you to see what kind of expectations you've set. Yeah, because you are promising a better future when you are selling something. That something is the bridge from A to B. What kind of bridge have you sold, and where were the expectations that you've set? And then on the post-delivery side of things, you check what kind of reality you've actually sold to that customer. And the difference between the expectations and the reality is the delivery gap. If it's positive or negative, that's up to you to fix. And basically, few are the companies which are doing this, even though it's one of the less expensive things. And marketers are acquainted to do these expensive things, which are throwing $1,000 on Facebook ads, but they are not investing $100 in a system to monitor the entire feedback coming from their hundreds of customers.
yeah, no, you definitely need to follow up with what's going on. And I am very big on that. I mean, when I first started the company, I definitely, the first year, I wasn't doing any follow-ups. Like, I wasn't really doing anything at all. It was all reactionary, right? Oh, they're calling, they have a problem. We better find a way to take care of them now, right? But
Yeah.
nowadays, like after the first year, and I'm, pretty much 3 years in the business now, the last 2 years has been, I want to follow up within a week. I want to follow up within 11 months. I want to find out, what's going on. Are they happy? And also give them the gentle reminder that I am here for them if they do have any challenges. Now, you were talking about like the email campaigns, and I don't want to turn this into a negative conversation, but it sounds like your email campaigns are a little bit smarter than the average email campaign. It sounds like you have found a way to monitor, because I always find, like, I had a CRM for a while and I got rid of it because I found that like, I went on someone's website once and they're just like, they just keep emailing me, buy. It's like, but I've already bought like 6 months ago. Why do you keep emailing me trying to get me to buy the same thing? And it sounds like somehow you've done something special there, right?
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong here? Okay.
Yeah, of course you're right, Ben. So what we discovered is that, of course, Pareto principle 80-20 works in e-commerce as well. So it's not exactly 80-20, but with the RFM segmentation, and RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary value, you have segments of customers. Let's say if you have a high recency customer with a high frequency, so they've bought, let's say, 5 times from you, and a high monetary value, those are the loyal customers. Those are your best customers out there. And you don't want to, let's say, address them like you are addressing all of them, all the customers, right? And then you have newly acquired customers, and then you have newly acquired customers with the high spending potential. Let's say they have the highest recency score. They've bought, let's say, in the last 3 weeks. They have the lowest frequency score, so they've bought only once, but they also have the highest monetary score. So they are high potential newly acquired customers. And with the email campaigns, only for those 2 groups, you can become way more relevant, right? Because you can afford to give a concierge approach to your high spending potential customers. And then you, with the same RFM, you could have customers like churned customers that used to be loyal. We call them the ex-lovers, right? In this type of relationships, you can treat them differently. And you also have lost customers that are simply breakups. You don't want to reactivate them because they are bargain hunters. So with the RFM, you can orchestrate this type of email marketing campaigns, which are highly relevant. And basically you have onboarding campaigns for the newly acquired customers. You have prevention campaigns for the existing customers that are active and they are good. And also you have reactivation campaigns for the ones which are long gone. But what's the mistake that most of the companies are doing is that they have a one-size-fits-all approach, and they are diversifying the creatives around the fact that they are giving to everyone a 10% discount code, but they are not diversifying the type of messaging according to the relationship that their customers have with them. So with this type of email campaigns, you can set them and then forget about them because they are triggered automatically. So when a customer gets into the danger zone, boom, you have a prevention campaign. When the customer is already lost, you have a reactivation campaign being triggered automatically. And I think in this era of automation, we should be leveraging these kind of things because it's not rocket science, right?
Yeah, no, like sending the same message to everybody is weird. I mean, I have conversations where I do my follow-ups and it's like, we installed such and such dash cam. We worked on your Honda, we worked on your Toyota, we worked on your Ford. And I try and have it very narrowed down to what we did for them. Right.
Yeah.
And I only follow up that. I'm not following up trying to sell them anything. I'm not trying to do anything like that. I'm just trying to let them know I'm going to be there for them. However, at the same time, you're talking about a lot of like remarketing at the same time as following up, right? So it's almost like you're doing both at the same time. And really me saying, hi, we're going to be there for that, where I'm doing the same thing as well. But you have it sounds like, actually not sounds like, when I was on your website, it looks like you more are there to help businesses scale and continue growing at a proper pace. Because that's a big problem, is once companies start growing, they find it very hard to scale and do the same things repeatedly as they grow.
Yeah, that's right.
So go ahead.
There are companies which and it all starts with the mentality, to be honest, Ben, because if the decision makers, if the leaders of those companies are realizing that, hey, we should be nurturing our customers differently, and we should be acquiring the right customers with the right product. Because another thing that you can find out through analysis on the customer research, you could understand which are the products that are providing you the most sticky customers. Like maybe you have 10, 20, 100, 2,000 SKUs. It doesn't matter. What it matters is do you have like anomalies in your data? Do you have some certain SKUs that if those are being bought first time, the lifetime value is 20, 30, 80% higher. And if that's the case, then you should be using another customer acquisition cost to promote those type of products, because that means those customers are more sticky, right? And we've seen this in our data over and over again. So we worked with a lot of customers, and we've seen, for instance, we had the digital cameras company. The same products in terms of AOV and lifetime value, which was 5 times higher. Why? Because in the first purchase, the customer started with buying lights for their studio. And it was clear that they are starting with lights, but they need way more other things down the line. So not all the products are created equal, even though they have the same average order value. So with this type of approach, you know how to, what kind of battles to pick.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like you guys are, like, from looking at the website, it looks pretty impressive what you're doing and what you're trying to do to help business owners, right? So
Yeah.
how do you help optimize your customer journey with data-driven decisions?
Yeah. So one important thing is that throughout the customer journey, you have different touch points, right? And at some different moments throughout the customer journey, you have the initial phase, which is, let's say, the awareness phase, and then you have the acquisition one, and then you have the onboarding, you have the prevention, referral, loyalty, reactivation campaign. So throughout this journey, you can collect, for instance, what is the feedback of the customers through the NPS, the Net Promoter Score. And one thing that you can do really easily, and again, I'm a big fan of automations. I think the machines are there to help us, even though there are all sorts of rumors nowadays, but we are not getting into these grim scenarios. Like you could do this type of automations. Let's say you collect the Net Promoter Score, and if you have pissed off customers that are very valuable, you can automatically deploy a ticket and find out what's going on, pick up the phone and call those kind of customers. For instance, we are working with an office supply company which adopted this methodology, this CVO methodology in our software, and they have this 5 minutes service level agreement that they have internally to call any of their best customers that have an NPS score which is lower than 8, which means if you are looking on Pareto, right? So those customers, in their case, they generate something like 65% of their total margin, but they are only 10% of their total customers, right? So for those 10 customers, they collect the NPS at any touch point. And if the NPS is lower than 7, then 8, then they are picking up the phone. So someone from their customer service calls them. You might think, okay, but they are a big company. Yes, but you can do it at any level, right? Because if you have your customers, no matter how big or small you are as a company, if you have feedback from your customers, maybe you can't do it in 5 minutes, but maybe you can do it in 2, 3, 4 hours. And maybe you cannot do it today, but it's a pity to waste an opportunity to reactivate a customer and to find out what's wrong, because that's another thing. With the NPS, you ask customers, what are the chances to recommend you to a friend or colleague from 0 to 10? And if it's below 8, for instance, you can find out what's causing them to give you that rating. And then you have open responses, and those topics are allowing you to debug your entire customer journey, you know? And basically that's how you do it. That's only one thing, but the whole idea is to collect the data, not to settle for what you can find in Google Analytics or in your Shopify, because those are good data. But the most important data is data that you can get from your best customers that come back and your best customers that stopped coming back. And those type of things, you can ask them only by asking. And it's so cheap, it's so inexpensive to go out there and to ask them what's going on in their heads and how can you get better.
Yeah, the power of communication is huge. And, you know, I had this customer give me a 4 out of 5 on Google. And the reason why he gave me a 4 out of 5, he goes, because I just don't give anybody a 5. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I started thinking, what can I do to make everybody want to give me a 5? out of 5 on Google. What can I do different that no one else is doing? And I found a different way to give a customer experience to everybody. And what I did is I've harnessed the power of video, right? Yeah. So that's what I do. I do personalized video thank yous, and I talk directly to them. Now, how am I going to scale that? That's going to be a whole different thing as the company grows, right?
Yeah.
But right now, that's what's getting me those 5s, is that separation from like that big box. And I mean, a company like yours sounds like something that I may need to look into for my business as it grows, because we're looking at growing into another market right now and looking at, hopefully getting a few employees on board. And it definitely is something that I'll probably be, I think you're actually looking at offering a discount to people for attending a training, I think you were talking about in the email.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to talk about that, that'd probably be awesome.
Yeah. So we have this thing called the CVO Academy. It's an extensive training for anyone willing to learn about customer value optimization. I've teamed up with the heavy hitters in the space of e-commerce, customer experience, acquisition, ads, and conversion rate optimization as well. So there are eight instructors there besides me. And basically, we are talking about a comprehensive way to data-driven growth for any e-commerce out there. So for whoever wants to attend that, I'll give you the details, and basically you can use Ben50, so Ben BEN 50 on cvoacademy.com, and you'll get a 50% discount on our training, which is a $500 discount code. So don't forget about it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how does everybody actually get a hold of you, Valentin?
So I'm a LinkedIn person. So I'm posting there every day, almost every day, hopefully every day, not in the weekends because I'm trying to separate things off. But I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter as well, or you can find me on CVO Academy on .com or on omniconvert.com. And also I'm launching my book, which is called The CLV Revolution. You can find and read the first chapter on theclvrevolution.com. And one last thought for your audience, Ben, congrats for educating yourselves. So if you continue to educate yourself, you are going to become unbeatable, because right now you are hearing the voice of an ex-poor kid from Bucharest, Romania, which was an ex-communist country. So I was so poor and I thought that I have no chance in this life. However, by learning, being curious, and constantly applying these kind of things, I got where I am today. So basically, congrats for educating yourself and for hearing Ben's show, guys.
Thank you for coming on today. This was awesome. It was very enlightening and educational, even just going through your website.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for hearing me and for having me today, Ben.